Bonjour, you lowland, and I am very, very happy to be here at Chantilly for the Prix du Jockey Club on Sunday. This year it is an unmissable race, and there are many, many tactical things that I must discuss. But I will give you more of that later. Plus, I must first start with the Prix La Flèche, where I think that it can be Lopella that wins, and it will be Maxime Guyon that will get his big day going. She was very, very good in the Prix de la Mère Marie here earlier on this month, but was beaten by a very fast finishing Drazinda from Francis-Henri Graffard's stable. But maybe this better ground will be a help, non? Amy Murphy's Tokaido, I think, is the one to be in the race, with Jan Barbaro's Mayakovska also on my list, but it is Lopella that they must both beat. Now, for my Sunday nap, I must be on Berena in the Prix de Royaumont. Oui, this must be the race between Berena and Zlata, who were 1 and 2 in the Prix La Seine at Longchamp 4 weeks ago. It is very important, no? As this race could be the big indication for the Prix de Dion later on in this season. And I was so most impressed by Berena's pace from the 200-metre pole the last time. It must be her over Zlata once again. Zlata has the advantage of the win here at Chantilly in the Prix de la Laurie last year, but I do really like the finishing speed of Berena over the 2,200 metres of the Prix La Seine. So, with Francis-Henri Graffard's stable in very, very good form, it is my easy decision. Ooh la la, how excited I am to see Qualificar race again in the Grand Prix de Chantilly, and he will be my Sunday next best. All of you must know how much regard I have for André Febre's Lope de Vega colt, since he made a breakthrough group win in the Prix La Force at Longchamp last year. And then he was running in the very, very best of races, including the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, and although 12th in that major contest, he was still only 12 lengths behind the brilliant Daris. Of course, now a 4-year-old, there can be so much more to come, and it is on this good to soft ground that maybe we can see Qualificar at his very best. But this race is the most competitive, with Goliath showing all of his talent to be third to Sosi in the Hong Kong Vase at Chartine last year. And the raider from Angleterre, Idon, also a very, very good horse. Idon was last second to Santorini Star in the Jockey Club Stakes at Newmarket, and Jay Sella tells me this is one that must be on your list, as he will be in the Irish St. Leger later on this year. So Aidan has the form in the book, non? But I love Qualificar, and I must see him win this in this big season at this 2,400-metre trip, which is where he can be his best. For the Prix du Gros-Chene, André Fabre's Sagir could not hold on to the lead he had in the Prix Servan here last time, but back in this trip to 1,000 metres can now win. It was Patrice Cotier's Stolen Kiss that beat Sagir over that 1,200 metres race, but the win in the Group 1, Prix Maurice de Geest, did tell me he can be very, very good over 1,200 metres, but that he must not meet Stolen Kiss for a third time in 2026. Henri Francis Devans Afian was a very good second in the Prix de Son Jorges, so must be the big one to chase Sagir home, but it must be between these two, no? Ooh la la, what another brilliant race there is for the Prix du Jockey Club, and there is very, very much talked about this week for Constitution River. Oui, it is much the disappointment for Aidan O'Brien that Constitution River had the wide draw in 15, but he is still the favourite for this Prix du Jockey Club, and must be very much respected. Non, it is not impossible to win this from that draw at Chantilly, but it is just the analysis that tells you that fact, and with Ryan Moore there can be no better jockey to have a plan. D'accord, but some of the other big colts have draws in the higher numbers, with Darizan in 10 and Hawk Mountain in 11, but maybe the race will have more of the tactic because of this. Oh yes, I think they will all be watching for Constitution River to be making the big move, non. But maybe there could be plenty of pace from the front, making a test of pace and stamina. So I will be looking for Oxagon, who has been supplemented for this Komorebi and Hankelo, who were also born in the Poulet d'Essai des Poulains, all to be in the pace, and it must be a truly run race. D'accord, but the one who will make the benefit from this can be Hawk Mountain, with Christophe Soumillon, the expert in the timing of his runs, and Constitution River, Oxagon and Komorebi can also make the places. Finally, on Sunday, I will take my chances with Green Sense for the Prix de Sandringham. She has already been the winner here in the Prix Robert Papin in July 2025, and it was Maxime Guyon that was on her that day, so will be again. Francis Henri Graffards Desmas was so very impressive in the Prix de Bruno, having to make up some of the ground from her untidy start, but did win well, despite being a bit green, you say? D'accord, I always must note when Joseph O'Brien races here in France, and Green Sense is a very, very good filly that can go well fresh, so she will win this.